Welcome to a discussion regarding the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Profiling System as it impacts DeWind as a private motor carrier and the DeWind employee as he or she operates in the capacity of a driver. At this point, please turn up the volume if necessary. The Federal Motor Carrier Safety Association has introduced an additional safety assessment tool to grade a motor carrier safety profile. The new system expands the current assessment methods by including a methodology based upon actual road inspections. This new additional approach hopes to identify more carriers that are determined to be unfit. The designation unfit is itself a new FMCSA label to be applied to carriers whose safety profiles have been, under other methodologies, been assessed to be actually satisfactory. As already mentioned, a motor carrier could currently be deemed to have a safety rating of satisfactory. That assessment may be based on a combination of factors such as a carrier's administrative oversight and its maintenance history. Beyond satisfactory rating, a carrier could be given a conditional safety rating, a rating as unsatisfactory, or be simply listed as unrated. All of these are to be replaced under the new system with just two categories, fit and unfit. Under the new methodology, road inspections will feed into the FMCSA safety profiling system. And as violations are found, these will be accounted for and weighted by severity, as well as time weighted under the Basic Analysis and Safety Ratings Protocols, otherwise known as BASIC. Time weighted simply means that newer violations carry a higher value than more aged violations within the FMCSA safety rating formula. There are 7 areas that BASIC assesses for violations. The first is unsafe driving violations, followed by hours of service violations, followed by driver fitness violations, followed by controlled substance and alcohol violations, which is followed by vehicle maintenance violations, which in turn is followed by hazardous material violations, and lastly, crashes. Under the 7 basic areas of measurement previously mentioned, there is the additional weighting of violations based on severity within any of the basic categories. For example, a vehicle inspection may identify a tire with inadequate inflation as well as a frayed brake line. The severity rating applied to the inadequate tire pressure will be given a severity of, say, 2, as opposed to the severity rating for a frayed brake line. The severity weighting for a frayed brake line would be based on the condition of the brake line as judged by the inspector. The point value could run from 5 to up to 10. A violation with a high enough severity could trigger an out-of-service order, placing a truck into a state of immobility. An out-of-service violation itself adds additional severity points onto the basic violation severity number. A threshold of 11 inspections within a 24-month period with at least 1 violation per inspection, and where the carrier's overall basic score exceeds the industry average, will trigger a safety inspection determination. The outcome can very well lead to a determination of unfit. For example, in the 24 months between December of 2013 and December of 2015, DeWind had a total of 32 inspections with 25 violations, including 3 unsafe driving violations and 4 out-of-service violations. It is not unlikely that under the new method, based on inspections alone, DeWind would have been labeled as unfit. CSA, or Comprehensive Safety Analysis, has been retooled to stand for Compliance, Safety, and Accountability. Emphasis on accountability. Under CSA, both carriers and drivers are subject to the basic scoring methodology. What should be particularly meaningful from a standpoint of a Class A driver is the simple fact that he or she is now in the game assessment-wise as per the issue of safety. In the past, A carrier provided an umbrella of sorts under which a careless or unsafe driver could operate undetected and undeterred. Or, just as importantly, a safe or careful driver could work for an unsafe or careless carrier and do so without a lot of professional concern. Under CSA, that changed. A carrier and a driver now form, for better or worse, a type of partnership where both parties can enhance or spoil each other's safety profile as measured under BASIC. Let's connect the dots of this new relationship between the carrier and the driver. Imagine a driver is working for a carrier that has a truck with identifiable mechanical problems. For this example, we'll just say that the truck has a faulty brake light on the driver's side. The driver prepares for delivery with the truck, and prior to leaving the yard, he does not or she does not bother to check the brake or backup lights. As things go, the driver is pulled over by the state police and required to submit to a vehicle inspection where the faulty brake light is identified and cited as a violation. What this results in is a dual responsibility borne by both the carrier and the driver. From the standpoint of assigning a violation, it is as if the driver owned the truck and the trailer himself or herself. The driver gets that violation assigned to his or her Class A license. The result of violations from the FMCSA point of view are accidents, as in this picture where 2 people were killed in the Buick. This is why carriers and drivers are both the object of inspections. Violations are bad for all parties. As it pertains to the safety inspection system, the violation attached to both the carrier as well as the driver. In the past, the carrier was held primarily at fault for violations, in particular where a mechanical defect is detected or identified as the cause of an accident. Where a driver agrees to operate a vehicle today with a readily discernible mechanical defect, such as a frayed brake line, the driver now has a measure of culpability. With BASIC, a driver has a personal and professional stake in these violations. His CDL or her CDL is associated with the violation. Under BASIC, the driver can develop a safety rap sheet, so to speak. Today especially, the carrier and the driver form a symbiotic relationship as we speak of safety. In the previous example of the faulty brake light, the driver might have caught the problem before ever leaving the yard if an actual pre-trip inspection had been properly performed. This might have required the assistance of an additional driver to sit in the cab and step on the brakes. The point here is obvious. The driver had a responsibility to check his or her truck and trailer before hitting the road. Because of DeWinn's unique role in the civil and environmental construction industry, there exists another broader consideration. DeWinn is subject to a global safety pre-qualification process prior to being selected for contracts. Part of the global pre-qualification process involves a review of our FMCSA safety profile. In short, DeWinn's carrier safety profile can and will impact the decision of a client to hire DeWinn for very important and high-paying projects. Continuing with the effects of a poor FMCSA safety profile. This could theoretically result in a requirement that DeWinn, as part of the bidding process, add the cost of an outside carrier to transport DeWinn's own equipment to a proposed project site. Further, if a DeWinn driver develops a bad safety profile that results in an intervention by DOT, it would be likely that DeWinn would be forced to remove the driver from this safety-sensitive duty. Since DeWinn drivers normally serve a dual role, both as driver and field installation worker, this would clearly have a negative effect on the employee's value to the company. Looking out for safety is looking out for yourself, personally and professionally. The cost of unsafe practices such as failing to do a legitimate pre-trip inspection, the failure to maintain an appropriate speed, or maintaining one's daily logs will over time all add up against you under the CSA system of safety monitoring. Taking the care you are expected and frankly mandated to take will, in the long run, pay dividends, first for yourself and by association and extension to the WIN. It's a simple win-win for us all. Thank you.